Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming back to you with another video. I'm here with my good friend Ben. Yep. What's going on, man? Good to see you.
You too, man.
We're actually at Ben's house right now, and we're actually at our eBay to Amazon Mastermind. So we got about 25 eBay to Amazon sellers and some OA sellers. We got Jameson Philippi back there. We got Romer the Roamer. Big shout out to your wife as well for allowing us to eat pizza and jump in your pool. But today I'm excited to be here with Ben because Ben actually, he's been selling on Amazon for actually probably well over, what, 10 to 15 years now?
Yeah, tinkering with it, I would say. I think the first account that I set up was probably about 10 years ago and then lost track of it and switched to another one maybe about 6 ago. So
what's interesting is Ben started by drop shipping and selling on Amazon. And over the years, there's been a lot of changes. We'll talk a little bit about that. But he's been doing eBay to Amazon for 4 years. Right now, he's averaging between 40 to 50K a month. I know you've had bigger months than that, but right now you're doing a bunch of different things. You're considering opening a prep center. I mean, this guy, I have learned so much from Ben. A lot of you guys who've gone through my eBay to Amazon masterclass and courses, you know, I'm always like, I learn from other people and mentors. This is one of them right here. And this guy's behind the scenes, but hopefully you'll learn more about him in the future. But Ben, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How did you get into, eBay to Amazon?
Yeah. So eBay to Amazon was kind of the reverse of what I was already doing in many ways. So 2012, around there, a little over 10 years ago, which is crazy to think.
Yeah.
That was when we started drop shipping. We were doing actually Amazon to eBay drop shipping, which kind of came into its own, really became a whole niche and industry. But then rules came around, eBay and Amazon started clamping down more on that practice. So it just kind of got harder to do. But during that time, we learned a lot about like, okay, how do we make sure items don't run out of stock? How do we match items up? All of that kind of thing. And then there was at one point several years ago now, maybe 5 years ago, that I started thinking, we're having so much success with this drop shipping. Could you do the reverse of this, basically? Could you source on eBay and sell it on Amazon? And the thing that I found that was more difficult was all these eBay items were spread out, and it made it more challenging at first. But then once I started getting the hang of it and some of these items that I started finding, it was really blowing my mind, honestly, some of the margins and profits. Because, when I first started, just like I think most people do, you start off doing retail arbitrage, or you're doing online arbitrage.
Thrifting, Goodwill.
Exactly, yeah. Book selling, yes, all that good stuff. And a lot of those margins can be there sometimes, but I feel like it's a lot more hit and miss. But when I started doing the reverse of this, I felt like I really discovered something that nobody else knew about at the time, which was like, there is just a gold mine sitting here on eBay. And I mean, you're not talking about $4 or $5 profits. You can still find those, but it's like, we were finding like $50 margins, $60 margins, sometimes, even above 100.
Oh yeah.
Depending on the item. And so I started tinkering with that. I was actually still doing the drop shipping. So I was sourcing on eBay, drop shipping on Amazon, did that for a while, but then what kind of was funny is it naturally kind of almost organically led to FBA, because I would come across some of these items and I just thought that it makes no sense to wait for it to sell and then try and drop ship it to somebody else. This is here in front of me right now. It's $60 profit. Why don't I just buy it and then I'll send it into FBA? So it kind of naturally evolved that way, which is where it is now.
Yeah.
But it's such an underrated industry, Steve. That's what blows my mind. It's just that there's still such a blue ocean of opportunity out there for this program.
And one of the good things about eBay to Amazon, it's good and bad, is a lot of people are scared to try eBay to Amazon. And I actually just interviewed Seth with Checkmate Flips. He does around 80K a month.
Right.
I'm actually looking forward to interviewing Dan, Dan Petrelli. He frequently sells items for like $300, $500, even over $1,000 E-to-A. But a lot of people, the good thing about E-to-A is it's like a blue ocean. There's a lot of opportunities. The bad thing is there are risks involved, right?
Sure.
But give your honest opinion to people, because you've been doing this the longest, like eBay to Amazon, than anyone here at this mastermind right now. At least that I know of. Maybe John might be doing it longer. But,
right.
What advice do you give to people who are thinking about doing eBay to Amazon, but they hear from the community,
you're going to get kicked off, you're going to get banned, you're going to...
And again, there's some legitimacy to that, but give your honest feedback, unbiased.
Yeah, so honestly, that was my main concern. I think just like anybody else when you first start doing this, because I didn't, like at the time when I started, there was no, Steve Rakin that was doing it too. Like I was trying to find, is anybody else doing this, But yeah, it was a major concern for me. Like, okay, I'm not going to have invoices. I have an eBay receipt, but is that really worth anything? Would they accept it? And everybody that I talked to at the time was like, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to lose your account. You're going to get terminated. And then the more as time went on, first of all, I honestly had very few issues because especially since I was doing it FBA, I was getting it all to me first. So I was able to make sure it was in the condition that I wanted, make sure that everything looks good and all that kind of stuff. Now, could you still get a counterfeit item slipped in there? I suppose you could.
People do.
Right. But I feel like what really sold me on it after a while was this. I got to a point where I was like, maybe this isn't safe. I want to take care of my Amazon account. I started tinkering in some OA stuff. So I was buying stuff from Walmart, Walgreens, Target, usual suspects.
Of course, yeah.
And I felt better in my mind because I was like, at least I have a receipt. At least I have,
He would go to sleep with invoices under his pillow.
Stuffed my pillow. No feathers. So I remember running into this issue, though. I think I shared this with you the other day, where I had these spoons. They were these plastic Mainstays, which is a Walmart brand of spoons that I was selling really successfully. I was making somewhere between $4 and $5. Probably sold several hundred of them. Somehow I got an inauthentic complaint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is a Walmart brand. I have receipts for everything.
Oh, you're fine, yeah.
I am golden. So they said, we want to see receipts for like the last 6 months or whatever. My account wasn't suspended, but it was just like a warning. Hey, we want to make sure, whatever. I gathered all of this information. I actually paid a company to help me assemble it all together, write a professional, plan of action, all this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, and it wasn't one receipt. I'm talking like probably 50 receipts that I submitted. I made sure I had everything covered and they didn't accept it.
Yeah.
And that was where I was like, all right, what's the point of doing this when I'm making so much less margin, so much less profit, when most of the stuff, I hadn't even had a complaint yet on any of the eBay to Amazon items that I was selling, not one. Yeah. And so there was kind of this moment where it was a realization of like, look, even if I do get a complaint, you can write a good plan of action, get it removed, or even just acknowledge I made a mistake and it comes off your account. And then, I mean, the more volume you do too, there's, account health assurance now where it's like you're not going to get your account suspended without talking to the person.
I dealt with that recently because I had a counterfeit book. It wasn't even eBay to Amazon.
Right. Yeah, so
and that helped a lot.
All of those things, I feel like Amazon really, even though they have a funny way of expressing this sometimes, which I think we all understand, they really do want you to succeed. Like your success is their success. So if you're selling and you're making money, like they're making money in the fees and stuff like that. So it's in their interest for you to do well. They just have to make sure that like things are being done right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Steve, most of the stuff that I am selling, I don't know if I would say most, but a really big chunk of it are items that are really the harder to find items. It's stuff that is discontinued. It's no longer being manufactured.
Well, we know each other's stores. It's a lot of stuff that's not super popular. It's not selling 15,000 times a month. It has 20, 30, 40 sales a month. It's older. Sorry to cut you off.
No. It's totally true. But like, I mean, you're talking about like older electronics maybe where somebody really still wants it, but they can't find that certain part now and they're still looking for it on Amazon. Retired Lego sets, all these kinds of things where...
You love Lego.
Oh man, it's a gold mine. But there's so much opportunity out there like that people just aren't thinking of. And that's really where this is coming from. So, I mean, you tell me, what's the chance of getting a counterfeit complaint on like an old VCR that's still brand new in the box, or a Lego set where you can see, okay, this is, it still has the Walmart sticker on it. It was just never opened,
Now, I'm curious, for folks who are maybe new or they've been thrifting for a few months, maybe they only have $200, $300, $400.
Yeah.
And again, I want your honest feedback. Like, who is eBay to Amazon for? Because you've seen it all. You've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
Should folks only start this if they've been doing it for a year or two? Should they? Because I always tell people, start with thrifting, learn the basics first.
Right.
I always tell people don't jump directly into eBay to Amazon. What are your thoughts on like how much money maybe someone needs to start eBay to Amazon? How long do you think they should be selling? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. But
No, that's a good question. I mean, I think this. I think you always want to understand the industry at least a little bit that you're getting into. So, could eBay to Amazon present a risk where maybe they ask for an invoice and suddenly you don't have one? Sure, that could happen. I think when people are starting off, I think some of the safest ways to go, this is just in my opinion, get your feet wet. Go down to Walmart, go down to the local thrift store, go get a used book, something like that, and just kind of understand that process a little bit. Because if you just try and jump into this at 100 miles an hour with no knowledge, like you're going to wind up in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you could go do wholesale and have invoices. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to mess things up. So you know, the first few months, that's really when I feel like Amazon is really more watching over your account, making sure you're doing everything.
100%.
Right. They do have things, I can tell you this too, where they used to call them, I haven't seen them in a while, but I've been selling for a long time, where they used to do velocity reviews. Your account starts growing at an exponential rate, maybe a little bit faster than
quick for their comfort.
Yeah. They're not going to terminate your account or anything, but they may just say, hey, we're going to hit the pause button for a week. Can you just show us some receipts and invoices for the stuff you're purchasing? You know, and that's fairly common. So I think in the first 90 days, I would say, get used to it. Maybe go buy some stuff from Walmart or from Target. Don't worry about sales tax. Don't worry about that stuff. Have receipts for it, and just understand that process. But then know that there is a world of opportunity waiting beyond that once you get your feet.
And one of the things I learned from Ben is he's like a master when it comes to replens. I mean, that's one of the things I learned from you, man. So he's like the inventor of like I branded it the E2A Master Sheet, but he's the one who created it. He created the scan sheets. For anyone who's in my group and you see these things, and you're like, oh, Steve's so smart. No. I'd love to take the credit. Yeah, I'm giving you.
He put it on steroids.
Yeah,
he 10x'd it. So.
But how much money do you think someone needs to start E2A? A couple $100, $1,000?
No, not even 1,000. Honestly, I mean, the wonderful thing about doing eBay to Amazon, people fail to understand, I think, how big the eBay marketplace is still. Because people think of eBay sometimes and they think about it like, you know, almost like, like MySpace, or they think of it like AOL or something like, oh yeah, eBay, you know?
eBay.
There is still a huge marketplace for that. It's still one of the largest marketplaces in the world. It's growing still.
Oh man, yeah.
As long as nobody's died.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, it's this massive marketplace. People constantly are putting stuff on there that they've had sitting around their house for years. They don't know what it's worth.
Yeah.
They're just wanting to get rid of it. They're wanting to make a few bucks. And that presents an enormous opportunity when you compare it to other marketplaces and know the value of those things. So, you know, to answer your original question, though, I think you could start with probably $100 if you had to, even a couple hundred. I think that's more than enough to start.
Yeah, I agree.
So, because it's really all ranges of profit. You don't have to do, you know, the home run $100 profit. You could start off with a $5 profit.
So both of us, we use a software called Flipmine.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic software to start with.
Absolutely.
For sure. You can filter it based on, for example, you could look on Flipmine for items under 10 bucks that are selling over $30.
Yeah.
Or you could be like our buddy Dan, who he has filters where it's like, he ain't touching anything if it's like less than $100, it's selling for like $200 or $300.
Yep.
So you could start on a budget. Now, let me ask you, can I hit you with a speed round, man?
Sure. Yeah.
all right, new or used?
All right. I would say a little bit of both, but now primarily new.
What's your favorite category to flip from eBay to Amazon? I'm coming off the cuff with these right now, man.
No,
so
that's fine.
My goal is to stump him at his house in front of his pool, man, so you watch this forever and know.
I would say
favorite category.
I would say electronics and also business and industrial, which surprised even me. Yeah, there's a lot of
industrial.
So for those of you who don't know, that things that I think would fall into that category more are like kind of tools, home improvement things, stuff you'd find around almost like a Home Depot. Almost,
yeah.
You know, things of that nature.
What's the minimum profit that you'll flip eBay to Amazon?
14.
14 bucks?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
What is the number of monthly sales that you like to stay above? So if you're looking to flip a product, because we don't really care about rank as much. A lot of people focus on rank. Rank it's a nice number, but it's a moving average.
Right.
What's the number of sales you're looking for?
I would say on a minimum basis, usually 10. It depends. Like sometimes I'll go down to the very lowest I will go is 5.
Yeah.
But that's really got to be like, when this thing sells, I'm making bank, you know?
One-offs, or are you buying multiple quantities of a product that you flipped before? So that's a replen. A replen is an item you flip multiple times. Are you looking to do one-offs to increase your cash flow, or are you buying 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time?
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for new items. That's where I think it's, you know, there's a lot of power in just finding new stuff that you can add into your arsenal of things you're already, you know, are aware of. But yeah, definitely if I see something and I know, okay, that I know that thing sells, and this guy has 4 of them that he's selling, I'm buying all 4.
Got you.
As long as I make a good offer.
Got you. What about, do you use any tools for protecting against IP complaints?
I do, yeah. I use IP Alert, of course, which I think most people know of. You know the owner, correct? Don't you?
Chris Grant?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's the man. Cleartheshelf.com. If you guys are looking for free Amazon information, head over there now.
Yeah, amazing tool, and honestly, it's like saved my butt multiple different times.
Yeah.
Like by using that.
You use another one too.
There is another one, and it's by ASIN Zen.
Yes.
In all fairness, I don't think it's as good. I think it's a little trigger happy, where it kind of warns on some stuff maybe that it shouldn't.
Yeah.
AZ Alert is what that
yes,
is called.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So I use both of those, and those have kind of kept me out of trouble. And then besides that, just kind of keep just watching for any sudden not rank, but rather sale drops when the number of sellers on the listing.
How about, and hopefully you don't mind me, this is my first speed round live in Oklahoma right now. What about minimum, you have a VA, right, who purchases for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the minimum ROI that you'll allow? It's $14 profit is the lowest you want, but what's the minimum ROI on an item when they're analyzing it with Seller Amp or whatever tool you're using? What are you looking for?
40%.
40%?
Yeah, 40% is what I have as a standard. I will go down to 30, but I hate doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it really depends on that situation.
Gotcha.
It's got to really be a home run hit to go down to 30.
What's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of eBay to Amazon in the fourth quarter?
The fourth quarter?
Yeah. October, November, December. Yeah, fourth quarter flipping, yeah.
I'm thinking football. It's October, man. Or it's almost. I'm sorry. I'm in preseason.
We got
mode
Zach
still.
laughing behind the camera at you.
Oh, man. Yeah.
First
I would
word.
say opportunity, but I feel like that's
Yeah.
what everybody's expecting me to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Gosh, something beyond opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
It's a tough one, man. I told you I want to stump you on-
treasure, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like hidden treasure. That's two
Yeah.
words. Yeah, that's what I think of, honestly. Like, people don't understand what's in front of them.
Fourth
That's what it
quarter's
comes down to.
wild.
It is.
Last year was like my first big fourth quarter
Yep.
because, I've only been doing this for 2 years. In the first year, it's a lot of just experimenting and
For sure.
whatnot. But I'm excited for the fourth quarter. Do you have any big goals? Are you going to try to, have you hit 6 figures per month with E2A?
I have.
Yeah. He's like, I have. Yep.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, just like anybody else. Sometimes you touch it, and then you come back down and stuff like that, depending on what other projects we have going on. But yeah, I mean, it's especially if you're doing like a higher average selling price. Sometimes people are impressed, like, oh my gosh, he hit 6 figures, and it's like sometimes if you just buy more expensive stuff, it gets you there.
Yeah,
It gets you over the hump. So, but yeah, fourth quarter is going to be exciting for
Yeah, I'm so pumped up. I'm so pumped up. So that's it for our interview today. Now, I do want to say, Ben is in our community. You joined the masterclass, about a year and a half ago?
maybe? I don't know when you launched it. It was right when you launched it. So
He came in, I think I was doing around like 20 grand a month at a time. And the funny thing is, I'm sure you got a little bit of value, but I got way more value from you, man. So that's the power of whether you just join a free Facebook group, come to a mastermind. I mean, we're having a mastermind here where it was $500, but we all split it. Like we just rented a mansion, like nobody's making money, but like it's the value of like, you get a community, you make friends. For me, I grew up in an upbringing where I was hanging out with the wrong people. I got in trouble, like 21, I went to jail. Like you guys all know my story. And the only reason I was able to change and grow wasn't because I'm anything special, but I got around people who are special, smarter, have different skills. And that's what it's about, man. So I appreciate you. And
you as well, man. Just to add to that real quick, I'm just gonna throw this in, but like, for a long time, I used to feel like, oh, I can't share what I'm doing. Like, I want to keep kind of everything to myself. Like, a very, very confidential in the way that I ran my business. And the one thing I learned over time, I really wish I would have understood this sooner, is like, you benefit so much more from being in a community like this, like with these guys, with the people that we know online.
Dude, that's Romer the Romer right there. He's literally right there.
Is that him?
That's the founder of Go-To-Lister. I don't know if do we got a blur effect? I don't know if we can see him right
Should
there.
block
We're gonna,
his face out.
Video editor, zoom in. Show a muscle. Do you got any muscles? But you were saying
it's really the power of the community, though.
Yeah.
Like even last night, like we were over at the house where everybody was gathered, where you guys are staying, and we were up past midnight just sharing with each other. And it's like people think like, oh, this guy shared such a big secret with me, or he shared so much value. They don't understand it's going both ways. I'm learning constantly from people.
Yeah.
People are learning from us, and that's the beauty of being in
You know what's
something like
crazy?
this.
We had 5 guys in the hot tub, and it was $300K a month in revenue, just eBay to Amazon. When everyone says it can't be done.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
wild.
wild. And it's just scratching the surface.
And eBay to
People don't
Ama-
know how much is out there.
And we're not here to say eBay to Amazon's better than anything else.
No,
I think
no.
wholesale, OA, thrift, they all have equal opportunity in its own way, but
Yeah.
we're just sharing what we're doing. Another thing I want to thank you about is not only did you teach me about, obviously, the master sheet and replens, but we've actually partnered up. We've been working together for about 5 months or so.
Yep.
We're actually working on a really cool software for replens. So not going to say too much right now, but all I'm going to say is it's something really, really exciting, and it's getting very close to being something pretty powerful. So
working hard on it.
I wanted to introduce you guys to the brains behind the operation, right? So when you guys give me credit down the road, no, just give it to this guy right here. But yeah, that's Ben. hopefully you guys enjoyed this this interview. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. If you're in the any of the communities or whatnot, drop a comment, tag us in there. But with that being said, thanks so much, Ben.
Yeah,
appreciate you, man, and thanks for inviting all of us to your beautiful house, man.
Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Glad to have you guys here.
Yep, thanks.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, guys.